the seed in our home, and boys, let it grow where all can see. Feed it with our devotion, boys, call it the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Save it from the storm, boys, water down its roots with tea. And the sun will always shine on the old Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. March along with the piper, boys, we were born forever free. Let's go pay the piper, boys, beneath the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Pay the price they're asking, boys, always pay the tyrant's fee. Never give up the struggle, boys, fight for the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Stand for the rights of man, boys, stand against all tyranny. Hang the lance of freedom, boys, high on the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. It will grow as we grow, boys, it will be as strong as we. We must cling to our faith, boys, faith in the Liberty Tree. It's a tall old tree and a strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty.
We all need to prepare ourselves. You might have the food, water, gold, and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MaineMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MaineMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area because MaineMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MaineMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
Liberty's Guardian, Guns and Ammunition, a family-owned business located in the heart of Ohio's hunting country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
I had a dream the other night that, well, I didn't understand. A figure walked in through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat, and speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution to secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we'd hoped you'd always keep. But tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Your freedom's gone, your courage lost. You're no more than a slave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel and permits to own a gun. Permits to start a business or to build a place for one. On land that you believe you own, you pay a yearly rent, although you have no voice in saying how the money's spent. Your children must attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about the current news in a regulated press, and you pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver nor of gold. You trade your wealth for paper, so your life can be controlled. You pay for crimes that make our nation turn from God and shame. You've taken Satan's number. You've traded in your name. You've given government control to those who do you harm so they could burn down churches and seize the family farm and keep our country deep in debt. Put men of God in jail. Harass your fellow countrymen while corrupted courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn. And your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. Your leaders send artillery and guns to foreign shores and send your sons to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died? Or don't you have the courage or the faith to stand with pride? And are there no more values for which you'll fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? Oh, sons of the Republic, arise, take a stand. Defend the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. And pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he'd vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, but we have ourselves to blame. For even now as tyrants trample each God-given right, we only watch and tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside in a dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he'd fought to keep, what would be your answer if he called out from the grave? Is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you, and God bless this republic.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Evening Intelligence Report. I'm Mark Corky.
I'm Larry Lawson.
One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, southwest, east, north, and south. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio on YouTube via live stream, and we are on AM and FM micro stations, CB base stations, and Ultranet, Hallmark, and Golden Spike Technologies, east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon to all of our friends out there in Lower 49, including the great state of Jefferson, along with CONUS, the outlying two states, the territories, the clock, which, of course, it's 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and all of our friends in Canada who are listening right now and are getting ready for their big jump-off. So with everything going the way it is, north and south of the border, we'll probably be working hand in hand down the road here to deal with the globalists/internationalists. And this is going to be a frontier war that's going to move across Canada and America at the same time. So, for everybody out there, good trade, okay? Larry, it has been a perfect day here. We got a lot of stuff done. I painted things here. I'll tell you what, got a lot of work that otherwise you got to get it prioritized first, because closer it is to where the snow can hit, the less likely you're going to get it done. So start low and work your way high. What's it like in your neck of the woods? What's the date today? What's jumping off the wall here in the middle of the Midwest?
Well, this is the 10th of November, 2020 AD, and 1 week post the fake selection. And, gosh, yeah, both garbage, and yet the one they're trying to install is worse garbage. Amazing. Trump whining about Barr. Amazing how many of these swamp creatures that he installed that he's whining about. He actually fired Esper Esper was another globalist piece of crap. Remember when he hired Bolton, had to turn around and fire him, folks? Yeah, one piece of swamp garbage after the other.
Well, the question, Larry, right from the get-go on this one, by the way, is why did he hire him in the first place? Didn't he promise to get people who were not insiders? We all know. We all know better, right? You know, and here's the thing, real quick, and I don't want to break your train of thought, but I got to say this, guys. You know, they're going, he's doing the smart thing. He's getting rid of that swamp guy. Well, where did this person come from, and who hired him in the first place? He fired him. Look how dynamic that is and how important. Whoa, back up. Who hired him? Oh, that's right. So you see, for however many years that these characters have been, you know, screwing the country, spinning the wheels, you know, the person who hires you is to blame. There is a pecking order here, and you may be able to delegate authority, but you cannot delegate responsibility. And all the garbage that's happened, Trump is responsible for. He didn't keep his promise that he was going to stick with people who were outside the loop. In fact, just the reverse. He bought nothing but cesspool characters, and every person that was outside the loop was progressively targeted and bumped out of their job.
I think about the only one that hasn't been is Kennedy there in the CDC, or the one, you know, that talks about the vaccines. He's got a speech impediment, but he does seem to be one of the few that I actually like. The rest of them are, absolute total garbage that Trump has installed. We're talking, you know, the CIA is involved in this, folks, and who's he put in there? Gina Haspel, CIA garbage. Mikey Rapture Boy Pompous, another Israeli firster piece of crap who keeps pushing the war with Iran. CIA. Yep, Trump put him in there. Remember Elliot Abrams tried to get the coup going with Venezuela? That's Trumpy again. On and on and on. You know, Munchin from Goldman Sachs. You know, that was one of the first ones in there. Gina Haspel, CIA. Over and over and over again, folks. The same garbage. So, I see this whole thing as a setup. Trump's playing his character role. From what I understand, what it looks like they're going to do is Trump may turn around and win this legally, but when he does, that's when the communists are going to basically explode across this country and get their revolution kicked off. I want to remind people that there was a group many years ago, it was called the Prophecy Club, and they touted a Romanian guy, I think he was Romanian, and his name was Dmitry Duduman. Now, I don't know if it's a Mandela effect or what, but now this guy's name is Dmitry Duduman. Instead of a Y, there's a U at the end. But he basically said that at some point in the future, fighting would commence inside the country, and it would be started by the communists. The Democrats pretty much qualify as the communists. But look what Trump did. I mean, he's anti-gun. He's pretty much communist himself. He shut down all these businesses and declared who was essential. You know, everybody else could die. That's pretty much what communists do, is sanction who gets to live and who dies, you know, business-wise as well as other. So Trump in some ways is communist also. But anyway, this prophecy said that, you know, when the fighting would start between the communists and the government, that our enemies, which they named them, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Iran, and 7 other countries, would attack. They would hit with nuclear weapons. They would hit the east and west coast, and the Russians would come down from the north, and you would have Chinese and others coming up from the south. And this has been a legitimate attack plan for decades. And it's not going to surprise me to see this unfold exactly as has been outlined. So we have the communists already positioning to do all these things. And I think the kickoff may be, you know, when they finally declare him, you know, Trump the winner out of all of this. So we'll see, but I would suggest being as ready as you can be for anything. So, our enemies would actually be foolish not to take advantage of the chaos that's about to come. The country is divided. We're going to be fighting amongst ourselves. We're bullies in the world. We are empire in the world. And Russia has steadfastly been building hypersonic weapons that can hit their target in a fraction of the time that they used to be able to. Their shit works, pardon my French. Their stuff works. We buy from the lowest bidder, supposedly. We're getting our wiring harnesses made down in Mexico for jet planes and everything else. Those Y-35 turkeys are garbage. Those new supposed stealth fighter planes are absolute garbage. Now, interestingly enough, when I was 9 years old, and I'm almost 60 now, I had dreams about a lot of this stuff happening. And I had one, it was just like watching a news broadcast, which I could see next week. And it showed they were profiling women who were flying these stealth fighter bomber planes who'd launched a couple of nukes against the evil Russians in Europe. Well, women are now in the military. They were not in combat roles when I was 9 years old. Neither did we have stealth fighter bombers. Those are real and in existence and in Europe now at this time. They're already profiling women flying these things, and they're nuclear capable. All of that stuff that I had as a dream at 9 years old is now in place. And our piece of garbage, Zionut, Epstein-guilty President Trump, who as a candidate said these things were turkeys and was going to stop them. Of course, as president, turned around and funds them with billions.
Oh, did we lose you, Larry? I heard a click, click, click. Hopefully Larry will be back here in a moment.
I'm right here, Mark. I don't know what happened.
Well, it was interesting. I heard a tick, 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 and you were gone.
Well, and
now you're actually cleaner right now. You're clearer than you were before. That's okay. Whatever's happened, now you sound even better than the last time I heard you.
What was the last thing you heard?
Just a moment. You just clicked out for a minute there. Go right ahead.
Well, as I was starting to say, candidate Trump decried these turkeys. They're absolute garbage. They have a numerous bunch of problems with the software, with the breathing apparatus for the pilots and everything else. They're absolute garbage. And yet, President Trump threw billions at the things. You know, he did a 180 just as he has on all the other things. Remember, he was going to tell us about JFK? Well, no, you can't do that. He was going to do this. No, I can't do that. I couldn't build a freaking wall. You know, couldn't do that. And all the people came in and changed governments like they did in Virginia and elsewhere. But yeah, this Y-35 plane is absolute garbage, and he's funded it, and now they're touting this all over the world, and it will likely be used to attack Russians any day now. Any day now. I mean, they got to keep that company up and alive, right? But they're garbage, and yet they want to sell them to other countries. They're supposedly going to sell them to the United Arab Emirates, even though the ISIS Israelis don't want that. So remember what Trump is, folks. I mean, the Israelis came in and put Stingray spy devices all through Washington, D.C., you know, to spy on Congress and Trump. They've used Epstein to blackmail both parties, raping U.S. girls to death in some cases to blackmail both parties to serve them. Israel did 9/11, Epstein, ISIS, and the Beirut nuke that we saw here recently. That was a nuke, folks, that they dropped in the heart of Beirut, you know, because they were building missiles down below. Oh, well, gosh, some people like to defend themselves against the shenanigans that the Israelis pull. I tell you what, the Iranians have got an impressive arrangement underground. I mean, they've got whole missile cities underground, and they've now come up with a missile magazine. In other words, they've got multiple missiles underground that they can launch boom, 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 like firing a semi-automatic pistol. It is impressive. So, yeah, the Israelis got their hands full poking the bear, you know, there with Iran. And Mikey Pompous and Trump continue to poke Iran. Iran is not the problem. You scumbags in Tel Aviv are the problem. You're the little monkey that we got to get off our back. And it doesn't matter if it's Biden or Trump in there. The Israelis win either way. So it's interesting. Fox News is now congratulating Biden. Murdoch was always a Zionist piece of crap. You know, just like all of them that own all of the news stations are owned by the Zionist pieces of crap. So we need to get this Epstein-raping monkey out of our politics, out of our country, out of our judicial system. You know, it needs to go away. This is not conspiracy theory. This is not anti-Semitism. This is what's going on in this country. And it's what's going on in Canada. And it's what's going on in Australia. I mean, every place you go, you find these little Zionist parasites leeching off the neck of these governments, sucking them dry of finances, weapons, and secrets. So this is the enemy of God and humanity that needs to be dealt with. They are the enemy, not the Iranians, you know, not the Chinese. Now, China's an enemy in its own, but China didn't do 9/11. China didn't do Epstein. China didn't put Stingray spy devices in D.C. That was the freaking Israelis that did that. And they're the ones that need to go. You know, they're the ones that need to be exposed. They're the ones that our government has been colluding with, not the Russians. It's been the Israelis. So this continues to need to be exposed. All this election garbage, whining about China and everything else. Israel's still the one that's got its fangs in our neck and needs to be pulled out and destroyed. Period. So,
well, interestingly enough, the way they're dragging this out, we still have counting supposedly going on. If so, I'd like to know. Well, I don't need to guess. We know what's happening. It's just a farce to begin with. This is not an election. It's a 30-day dog and pony show. Lots of pickle smoke and mirrors. An election is where adults set a day. You only have to spend a very limited amount of time to go in, vote. It's done. You only vote once. You don't vote multiple times. You don't vote for other people. You don't, vote for dead people, okay? Or fill in piles of paper and shove them into boxes, okay? That's what we just saw in multiple massive forms. So there has not been an election. There has been simply a dog and pony show to keep everybody busy, and the Republicans are just as much to blame as the Democrats. That's the one thing they keep trying to do. Those Democrats. Listen, people, okay, I will repeat over and over again that these people all had plenty of time to see the writing on the wall, what was going on. And it's not like voter fraud is something new. The only thing that I would say is this. The Democrats are rabidly notorious for voter fraud on a massive scale, and they have become so arrogant about it that they were virtually right out in the open in your face with this on a massive scale. Name for me where you've ever heard of a Republican versus the Democrat, a Republican doing voter fraud. I want you to think back through all the years. Now, I'm going to tell you, I will tell you that they are scurrilous. The commercial hack Republicans are scurrilous swine. I've told you this a million times on the air. I will not hesitate. Don't even have to think twice about it. But as far as voter fraud goes, within the conservative circles, it's inconceivable of anybody that I have ever known that they would try to figure out how to fill out 100,000, votes or 10,000 or 1,000 votes on a piece of paper out in a van, and then walk in and stuff them in a box and claim that the vote is legitimate. You just won't find that. And it's the difference between the idiot stick, I want everything for free and, at any price, any cost. In other words, doesn't make any difference what they say. You really can't take them at anything, except maybe when they say they want to kill you because they're, it's bleeding out from their subconscious.
We're going to recount the vote, and we're going to keep counting it till we get it right.
Yeah, exactly. Over and over and over. Well, see, there's the problem, too, is, again, there's a discussion now about having a revote, okay? Why would we expect the revote to be any better than the present, fiasco, which everybody knows that every 4 years we have a presidential election. Not every, other month, not every 6 months, not even every 2 years. It's only 4 years apart. Now, granted, it's always tied in. Other election processes are always tied into that election. But, guys, everybody knew in advance that the Diebold machines and all the other farcical electronic database machines are illegitimate. In that respect, we have to remember that the Bushites were the ones who pushed. The CIA types were the ones who pushed the electronic voting machines that are computer type. And every step of the way, any honest human being has said, why do we need those? Why? There's absolutely no justification whatsoever. You maintain a high crime for violating the trust of the election process. You go with paper ballots. You only get to vote once. You have a logbook. You have a ballot. That's it. That's it. And they did just like all the rest of the garbage we've seen. The Republicans went right along, the spineless curs, the flatulent pieces of blubber known as the Republicans didn't do anything to prevent this chicanery from taking place. They did nothing. So you can complain about a criminal, but it's kind of like the thing with the, like you're going out and you defend yourself, you're trying to defend property, and then you have to defend yourself, and then you're attacked by a bunch of the punk thugs that are trying to burn down the country, and who goes to jail? Why? The Kenosha Kid goes to jail. But the other punk that was the rabid communist who was going to plug him with the Glock, he could do no wrong. So this is rampant, like and to the greatest extreme, guys. This is where this is going. The fact that they feel that they're actually getting away with this, or they're proceeding in their small brain, pea brain, shoe size IQ way. They have continued with this. Yeah, I'm talking about the Democrat half, the communists. Just with reckless abandon and advance. You got to admit one thing. They do stay focused on their mission, where the Republicans and the fake conservatives, panty waist turds that are, you don't want them near you when trouble strikes, because they'll run over you to get the hell out of the way, to, fall back to the rear, hell-bent for election. And where we are right now, what are you hearing from the panty waist? Oh, the communists are going to take over. No, they're not. We're going to shoot them. The communists are going to... No, they're not. We're going to shoot them. If they proceed as they are right now, we are now inevitably involved in a war of prevention. That is what you are involved in. The American patriots of 1775 were involved in a war of prevention. Has anybody read? There's a little speech that was done about the time the war started. Does anybody remember Patrick Henry? Does anybody remember his speech, in the pulpit there? By the way, he repeated that more than once. For everybody who doesn't know that speech, he did repeat that more than once. But does anybody remember that little part about, do you wait until you are supinely laying on the ground with your feet and hands bound? You don't do that. Only an idiot, a fool, or a Republican would go along with that. You think about that. Right now, at this moment, the only difference, I guess we're going to get to change the date, but I don't know, April 19th, by the time they're done moving and doing whatever else, we might make it almost to April, or maybe. I mean, I doubt it if things accelerate the way they're accelerating, but we could end up with about the same window where the American people get to decide with a trigger pull whether or not they're going to scour this country of the communists and the globalists that we have in this nation that have to be gone from here. Because the writing's on the wall. They've already told you they're going to kill you. Larry, you've seen enough of that. They've publicly announced, hell, after this election garbage, what did they start saying? They're going to keep track of all the pro-Trump people and execute them. They're going to track them. They're going to make them pay. Really? Well, I'm not in the support of Trump. I guarantee I'm on that list. So I figure I'm not waiting for him, and although I doubt that most of the Trumpers will actually have the intestinal fortitude to, get up off their ass and do something, but all the rest of us, the regular Americans, will.
Say, Mark?
I've warned everybody about that time and again. Go ahead, caller, jump in there. Who do we have?
Tex-Mex, yeah. Speaking on what you're talking about right now, I was kind of looking for, is there an article or somewhere I can find where they're actually saying, because I want to show this to some people where they're saying that they need to clear out 70 million people in order to get...
Well, as a matter of fact, they were tweets and public announcements. Hold on here. Actually, they're over on the other side. I got to pull the computer up here. Hold on. It's not ready. Go ahead and talk, by the way, please.
Okay. Yeah, I was just kind of wondering, because I wanted to show some people who kind of like, hey, you got, that's not... They're not going to do nothing like that.
Yeah. Well, wish in one hand, defecate in the other, and see which one gets full first. But, in fact, hold on here. I was looking to see... Actually, if you go to Farce Book even, what everybody was doing is printing up the all of their direct public comments. The character went on for an hour or two. A series of direct comments about the quote-unquote agenda, and how, one way or another, all these people that supported Trump and created all of this horrible harm for the last 4 years, how they're going to get them. And, of course, don't forget, they were talking about the re-education camps again, too. They were going to restructure the people who were voting for Trump. They needed to be restructured. So I'll have to pull it up. I may have to dig it up. I'm scrolling while I'm talking here because there's a dozen different pieces that were done. Of course, now with Farce Book, and likely is not, they probably would try to purge it, but it won't do them any good. There's too many other places where it's posted. Right next to the 10 planks of the Communist Manifesto, which I just saw right here. Anyway, I'll bring those. I'll tell you what I'll do, because I'm gonna have Ed do something else here. Hopefully, Edward is right there. Tex-Mex, you stay right where you are, and Larry, you stay where you are. But Ed, if you could, I asked for this in the last hour, and if we could, I want to play this. It's 9 minutes long, so we got to get into it right now to make sure we got plenty of time to talk. Update: a wrinkle popped up for Kyle Rittenhouse, bracket the Kenosha Kid, over at Guns and Gadgets. Edward, if you could, pull that video up. In fact, if you can, to shave off a little bit, you can slide it forward to the rest of the intro, because he's got a pre-statement, then he does like an intro. But, however, if we got to play the whole thing straight through, go ahead, and it's over at Guns and Gadgets. Update.
It's time for an update on the...
And here we go. We'll be back.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Guns and Gadgets. If this is your first time... Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Guns and Gadgets. Searching for news on the Second Amendment news. And if it's Second Amendment from other states that are constantly attacking our rights, sick of red flag bills, sick of magazine restrictions, sick of anything that the left is trying on a daily basis, well, you found the right place here. Subscribe to Guns and Gadgets if you want the news on the Second Amendment just as fast as it happens. You'll always find it here, oftentimes days before it hits the mainstream, if it does at all. So thanks for stopping by. Please check out some of my videos, and I hope you decide to subscribe. Until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry your weapon. Take care, everybody. It's time for an update on the Kenosha Kid. Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your premier source for Second Amendment news. And if it's Second Amendment news that you're after, please consider subscribing to this channel, because this is where you're going to find it, no matter where it happens. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, you'll find it here on Guns and Gadgets, oftentimes days before you see it anywhere else. I have two updates on Kyle Rittenhouse's scenario here. The charges that he's facing has been a little wrinkle. But before I get into that, I'm going to jump into the elephant in the room. If you're interested in getting one of these Biden Target t-shirts, I will have a link down below. It's in my Spreadshirt store. I just made them live. You know, sometimes you just got to go with the flow, right? All right, let's talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. So the last video I did brought us up to the point where he was fighting his extradition to Wisconsin, and eventually that day the judge came down and basically sent Kyle off. And if you're new to the channel, you're not familiar with the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, the Kenosha Kid is what I started calling him that night, basically around the shootings in which he saved his own life by utilizing his Second Amendment right I have a bunch of videos, and I'll have a link above that'll be the playlist of those videos. Watch them. A lot of great information. It'll get you up to speed. So what are the updates? Number one, we know that his bond was set. It's a $2 million cash bond. And I'm going to read you some quotes here from that hearing. It's disturbing, to say the least. But what I want to say first and foremost is here in America, we have the right to due process. And during that process, we in America are innocent until proven guilty. Now, Kyle has not been proven guilty, yet the media has already vilified him, and many politicians have demonized him. And if you look at any footage, no matter which angle someone was holding their phone up, this kid saved his own life by utilizing his Second Amendment right. It is, at least for me, my personal opinion, if he did not choose to utilize a firearm, he would not be alive today. So let's get into it. Kyle's criminal attorney, his name is Mark Richards, and he asked the court to set the bond at about $750,000 for a couple of reasons. He's 17 years old, he's never done anything wrong, he lives about 10 miles away, he's no risk to anybody. In fact, many of us would think that he would be at risk because, you know, those peaceful protesters. Now, Kenosha's assistant district attorney, his name is Thomas Binger, he asked the court to set the bond at $2 million, and I'm going to read you his quotes, and it's ridiculous. Don't forget, in many Democrat-controlled areas of this country now, they've gone to that no-bond system. So you could be a hardcore criminal, rape or rob somebody, get released that same day because you're not going to be held for bond, and then go out and kill somebody, and it has happened. Here we have a 17-year-old kid who's never done anything wrong. In fact, up until this fateful day, many considered him an upstanding citizen because of all the stuff he's done to help people. But I will say is that the other person who was pointing a Glock at Kyle has not been charged at all. Really? So the kid who saves his own life gets charged, but one of the guys who was looking to cause harm to him haven't been charged. Keep that in mind. And now let's talk about the comments of the assistant district attorney here, Thomas Binger. So Binger said that he believes that Kyle Rittenhouse is a flight risk. Where is this kid gonna go? There isn't anybody in the nation who doesn't know who he is or would be able to find him if he ever decided to run, which he won't. We take people who are illegal coming into the country and let them go for years and never chase them down. But this kid, who is well within his rights, we just want to lock him up forever until this court date. Makes sense, right? I also want to give you this quote from Binger. He said, "There is a certainty that if the defendant is convicted, he will be sent to prison, and a strong likelihood that he will serve most, if not the remainder of his life, in prison if he is convicted of these charges. A substantial amount of cash bail is necessary because someone who's facing these types of charges has the strongest possible incentive not to return to court." Again, where is he going to go? It's not like he's moving to San Diego and throw some shades on and grow a mustache like Whitey Bulger. I mean, this kid is well known right now. Binger also added that he's not from Wisconsin. Yeah, he lives 10 miles away in Illinois. And the fact that his attorney had already fought the extradition, he said that, quote, "I take that all to mean the defendant doesn't want to be here, and if released, he won't come back." Yeah, he doesn't want to be there because, A, he's in jail, doesn't want to be there. Who wants to be in jail? And number two, he doesn't live in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Why would he want to hang around? I mean, who would want to stick around and hang around in a town that is going out of their way to circumvent the Constitution and violate his rights before the jury trial? Now, in response to all this, Kyle Rittenhouse is the Kenosha kid. His attorney said that, Your Honor, my client attempted to turn himself into police that night, but they didn't do anything. You'll remember the video of Kyle walking to the police cars and them not getting out and doing anything, which is really helping all that violence. So he tried, then he went home and turned himself in there. So Kyle's due back in court on December 3rd for a preliminary hearing, and if you're interested in ways to help Kyle, you can head over to fightback.law. I'll have a link down below. I know that's where his attorney team is basically rallying the cause to support him. And let's talk about the second issue that has come up. This came up today, actually, regarding Kyle's situation around this shooting. And what I'm about to talk to you about is criminal in nature. However, it's not Kyle right now that is facing this issue. Another gentleman, his friend actually, was just charged for a straw purchase. let me tell you more about it. Dominic Black, a 19-year-old, has been charged with purchasing the weapon that Kyle used that night in Kenosha and purchasing it for Kyle. According to the criminal complaint that was filed, Black purchased a Smith & Wesson M&P 15 rifle, and it's alleging again, innocent until proven guilty. It's being alleged that Black purchased this rifle with money given to him from Kyle Rittenhouse. Now, this was done with the intention, allegedly, of Black giving that rifle to Kyle Rittenhouse, who was 17 at the time, and thus could not legally purchase a gun in Wisconsin. Now, again, allegedly, Rittenhouse and Black agreed that the firearm would be kept in Black's stepfather's residence, which was in Kenosha, and it was the address that was matched on the criminal complaint for Black. Now, if convicted on this straw purchase, Black is facing up to 12 years in prison, and don't forget that Kyle is facing life in prison for defending himself. Remember, guys and gals, this could happen to anybody here. Anybody watching this video could go out tonight and have some type of peaceful protest turned into a violent riot, and you might have to utilize your firearm to protect yourself, your wife, your child, your mom, your neighbor, or even somebody else who's being attacked. So because of that, consider joining the USCCA. USCCA.com/GNG will hook you up with insurance to make sure that if you ever have to defend yourself armed, then somebody will be there to defend you in court. And you don't have to stress that part. It'll already be taken care of. The link will be down in the description. I strongly suggest you join USCCA. I do know there are other options out there. Do you have to go USCCA? No. Get what works for you. But I know for over the past year and a half now, USCCA definitely works for me and my family. Also, don't forget about the giveaway that I have going on. I'll have a link above. That ends on the 20th of November. And we'll pick the winner of the Psionics Aurora Black Night Vision camera. $600 camera, if I remember right, and somebody's going to win it for nothing. Bupkiss. So head on over to that. I'll have the link down below. It's bdugiveaways.com/guns and gadgets, letter N. It'll be here on the screen, and it'll be in the description below. So that kind of wraps up today with the information about Kenosha and Kyle and what's going on. With that said, this will not get out much. So please thumbs up the video. It helps the algorithm. It really does. And share this with about 556 of your friends, and it would greatly help the channel. If you haven't subscribed to Guns and Gadgets, please consider doing so. I would love to have you join this growing freedom family. The comment section down below is amazing. There's a ton of knowledge down there, and I love watching the back and forth, so please continue to do that. Again, if you would like this Joe Biden Target t-shirt that I have on my Spreadshirt store, I'll have the link down below. I don't know if they're going to let me keep that up there, but while it's there, grab it while you can. And until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, carry a weapon, join USCCA, and I'll see you on the next one.
Watch election coverage live on a variety of news networks with YouTube TV.
And we should be back. Larry, were you able to hear that clearly enough?
Yeah, I actually had the Secret Service out here because I copied a image off the internet. The guy had a T-shirt and a sniper hat. It said, when all else fails, vote from the rooftops. And he had a T-shirt on that had a scoped image of, I think it was Bush on there at the time. But yeah, just because I reposted that, the Secret Service come out to ask me questions, you know. They asked me if I had intended harm to Bush. It was either Bush or Clinton. I think I got queried on both of them, and I said, why would I do them harm? They'll just put some other piece of garbage in there. And then they did. You know, time after time after time, they continue to put garbage in there. So, yeah, it's a little pointless to take one of them out because they've got plenty more standing in the wings.
Interestingly enough, just a real quick note for numbers, it should be a 10% surety bond on a $2 million bond, okay, which is not unattainable with all of the people that are out there. If everybody that was, interested in the case donated $1, hell, not only would you have probably the $200,000 you needed, but more money on top of that to put into a fund for the kid, which I think is something that is especially critical to do right now because it would be a message sent, but it also creates a lot less duress for the family and for everybody if everyone stepped up to the plate. I mean, I wouldn't think twice about sending $2, $3 myself, period. I mean, we're not super wealthy, but the reason I would say do $1, $2, or $3 is because there's millions of people that know about this case that would step up, and it would slap that piece of trash prostituter and the rest of the whores in the prostituter's office there, which is what needs to happen. Plus the politicos, and again, it's better that he would be out in light of what's happening on this side of the fence, no matter what restrictions, because it would be better than him being behind the wire as things kick off. You know what I mean? Just something to think about there. In other words, realistically, if this keeps step by step going where it's going, we're going to be shooting somebody's hind end real quick. Whoever it is they're stupid enough to send out, everybody will be smart enough to put down. And it'll escalate. And as it progressively escalates, well, the rest is history, as they say. So, okay. Somebody just sent me something here. First of all, somebody just threw this at me, and it's well, I don't know. If they decide to go with what they're planning on doing, it's obvious that they're going to stretch a rubber band out to the point where everybody will be dulled out, and then the idea is that we're just going to have to let the communists come in. Everybody, can you feel that, guys? Can you feel that happening right now? Have you noticed how things are being played here? It's not real urgent. There's all kinds of lawsuits. Well, we know how that BS works, and why is it a lawsuit anyway? These are criminal actions, people. These are all criminal issues. And yet it's all on the commerce side. If you'll notice, it's in the commerce and, it's like personal affront. Now, first of all, as far as I'm concerned, this is the weakest of efforts that could be made in light of what's readily available to be demonstrated in terms of criminal culpability. If you simply keep going after every element of the critters that have been creating voter fraud, just that by itself, which are easily found, you could pick a cross-section of any one, especially the leftist states like here in Michigan, Detroit metropolitan area. If you went into the Detroit metropolitan area, I guarantee you would find 3 to 5 different tiers of voter fraud, not just one. And the demonstration at the very least could be done, by looking at the actual forms, the actual ballots. As we've seen time and again. Yes, it would cost money. You know what? It's money well spent. I always love that if you'll notice, but it will cost so much. It's like talking about a revote. Really? A revote's going to cost so much. Who cares? What's our future worth? Who cares? What's your point? Shut up. We just need to do it. Well, but the cost. Now, before it was like, there's no problem. Oh, no, then there is a problem. No, then there's a problem demonstrated. Well, you can't fix what's broken. This broken can't be fixed. But if they won't fix it, then this is broken, and like I said, it's a shipwreck, and the spine has been broken. You won't fix it. It won't be fixed. Ergo, you're now into a situation where you have a lawless regime. You have a lawless mechanism in general, and not the illusory type where Trump doesn't want to go along with it. No, I wouldn't go along with it. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care who the hell it is, because I really don't. Okay, we're going to get screwed by either one of these characters. One's going to be a little slower, but not much, and not with the speed with which they're moving. Let's just remind everybody the Biden scam on coronavirus. He spelled out publicly what Trump already told you 6 months he was going to do to you. There's not a dime's worth of difference between either one of them with the coronavirus scam. Trump already told you he's going to use the military and expedite this, and boy, they're going to make sure you all get it. Am I wrong? Did I miss something? Larry, did I miss something there?
That's exactly what I've researched, Mark. That's exactly what he said. He's going to use the military to bring it to you in a powerful way, he said.
Yeah, it's going to be. So here's what it comes down to: is this is that old pickle, smoke, and mirrors garbage again that we warned everybody about over and over and over again, and everything is going exactly as we expected in terms of what it is. Well, come on. Huh. Yeah, well, that's another part of this, too. Again, even if you were to fix a part, okay, the problem is you're demonstrating a level of corruption right now, a corruption of what is a life or death process. I always love when you say that, pay attention in the room who laughs or giggles. That'll be the asset communist who's trying, not actually laughing because it's a nervous laugh. But in the same breath, they're going to try, well, the vote's not that important. Well, good, then you won't mind us doing that. If it's not going to be that, it's not that big a deal, right? Then you won't have a problem with us checking the vote. You won't have a problem with us going through and verifying everything. Personally, my problem has been with this whole re-verification is, guys, it only took 1 day to collect all the votes, to look at the logbook, tick the logbook, and put it over in the counted pile. So this bullshit where it takes 2, 3, 5 days to recount, oh, kiss my ass. I'm sorry. And I'm not sorry. It's seriously. I mean, think about it. If it took you 1 day to collect the votes, it should take you 1 day to count the votes. Again. Think about it. Unless, now, and then here's where the time starts to, be consumed. Excuse me. Post number 4 here, desk number 4. Yep, I've got 4 or 5 ballots here. They're all obviously filled out by the same person, and these are in question. So now you do have to stop because now you're going to have to benchmark the malfeasance. That's the only thing that's going to slow it down, which means, maybe it'll take an extra day. But that's not what they're doing. They're trying to figure out how to drag this out so that everybody will be in short brain, shallow hell mode with regard to, well, I don't really care anyway. Voting was supposed to be back, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Now, I agree with that because of the shallow hells and the nature of a lot of people that are minimally adult, because there are a lot that are minimally adult. They're basically still 2-year-olds in an adult body. However, that's why we said from the get-go is the adults who really are adults, set a day, you come out, you vote, and then you're done. That's it. And the only part of the day, do you stand there and stare at the voting booth for the next 10 hours after you voted or what? No. And so as adults, we pick a day and then we don't have the rest of our time wasted or interrupted with distractions that are frivolous by comparison to other real issues that need to be addressed. Instead, we're taking a microdot event that is important, but it should only be a microdot event. The real time is supposed to be spent doing something in government. Well, on the other hand, the good thing is, at the very least, if they're really going at each other's throats, neither side gets anything done, and generally the population is safer. But that's not really what's been happening for 4 years. The pickle, smoke, and mirror scam, they spin the wheels, they get everybody wasting time, blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, they burned down the country for the last year, too, while they're at it. And while the Democrats hoot and laugh about it and lie about it, like they are lying about the election, lying about the riot and the destruction and the burning and the murdering of people, well, you're at war. That's all I can say. You are at war. It's just that simple. Oh, give me a break. Come on. Let's see, next step here real quick. I have to go through the scrolls. Tex-Mex, there's a whole bunch of postings. If you're over on my Spreely, Mark Kornke on Spreely, or if you go over to Facebook, and go through the comments that were made there, scroll back through. Not comments as in comments made by people, but postings. And there were a number of postings repeated, including word for word, step by step, comments made, etc. And to the point where it's like, yeah, okay, well, it's not a surprise from my end. Just means we're going to have to pull the trigger on them sooner, which I don't have a problem with anyway. Another thing here real quick, and, forgive me, somebody else is asking again. That audio that we played is from a video. The video is over at Guns and Gadgets. There is another video I think that was just posted, though, but that particular one is on the Kenosha Kid. Watch the videos if you have not gone over to Guns and Gadgets. Just watch the latest and work your way back through because they're all worthwhile, okay? And it's a good way to stay up to speed on a daily basis all about a lot of the critical gun issues that are going on. Not everything. I mean, there's always something more to be covered, but they do a pretty good job there. He does, emphasize particular points with regard to what it is that we see as critical at this time, and he's been doing a pretty good job. So that's why we reference them. There's a number of other sites you can go to, ammoland.com, but they're trying to play the middle of the road, like play the progressive, so that when the time comes, they think they'll make a deal, and then they'll, of course, get us killed, then they get themselves killed, because that's what happens when you try to make a deal with the communists every time, people, every time. Anyway, we're almost to the top, and I wanted to mention over at Sportsman's Guide before I go any farther, there's no ammunition. Ammunition just is going to be a vapor issue in the next probably day as things progress and the other side keeps frothing at the mouth, which is cool. I hope they keep doing that. But if you go over to Sportsman's Guide, one thing there, clothing is become ridiculous in terms of availability. If you can get extra socks, extra underpants, and extra T-shirts, guys, I highly recommend you do it. I do not think we're going to be looking at a very happy camper situation with most manufactured goods when they hit us with what they're going to hit us with, and it's not going to be a good situation at all, okay? But there are, again, surplus, very little, but there are some surplus items that are definitely worth spending the money on right now. One of them, well, not going to fit me. I wear an extra large, but Fox Tactical Air Force Zip Coveralls. These are $9.89, and they are Fox Tactical, which is the equivalent to True Spec. They're ACU, but I've already ordered these, and I got a sample in. If you are a large or a medium, buy these for extra clothing. For $9.89, it's a tactical uniform. There's nothing you're going to find anything reasonably priced right now. This is the most reasonably priced single clothing item because it covers your whole arse. What I would recommend doing with this, a lot of you are putting kits together for your vehicles. Guys, this is a good single item. You could roll it up in a kit, put it in the trunk, put it in the truck, put it whatever you got, a cargo bag, and you've got another piece of clothing where you can just put it on over everything. You're wearing red, you're wearing blue, you're wearing green. Don't worry about even taking it off. Turn right around, pull the coveralls out, cover up everything, boom, you're done. Throw your backpack on, put your headgear on, get your gloves on, and point yourself cross country and start moving, and don't look back. It's that simple. But again, $9.89. They're only in size large. Now, this particular, camouflage, whoever prints it, there's color ranges. And while this does not have as much of the blue haze / gray haze, it is more of the gray-green. And sage green. So it actually is a pretty decent shade range for utility work. Another thing, if you're going to carry a tactical vest, it's going over everything, the backpack's going on. The arms, the legs, and part of your torso, or at least around the neck, is going to be visible, but that's about it. And again, you still want headgear or whatever, but figure out what's going to work for you. For all of you listening, these are a size large. It's Fox Tactical Air Force Zip Coveralls. They are over at Sportsman's Guide. They're in the clearance section. And these are, let's see, the number is WX2-714479. WX2-714479. And it's cheap, okay? I've been looking. You can't even find work clothes for any reasonable price right now. I mean, usually you should be able to find used work pants, work shirts, and there's usually get them by the bundle. You can get them by the pound. Right now, that's not out there. Not in general form the way it traditionally has been. I'm going to have to dig a lot more, talk to some of the other jobbers. I'm looking for a batch of gear. I've got several different militia units that I've been helping to not re-outfit, but outfit. We need 500 sets of uniforms for, 200 people. Well, actually, it's going to be closer to 700-800 uniforms by the time we're done, because you should have 2 or 3 changeouts. But they're allowing for growth, and they're going to only have so many people that are going to probably be able to pick up the extras in phase 1. But it's the idea that since they're building these new formations, I've been routing material. Well, I've cleaned out 4 companies with my wholesalers. I cleaned them out, and they do not see anything on the horizon. I went back to drink from the water trough again and found out there ain't no water left. And so one block, we did 800 tops and bottoms. I made a hell of a deal. Actually, I think they were ready to close, because I also don't see their listings now. But I got the last of what was in the warehouse, 800 of a very unique contract camouflage. They had everything from small to extra, extra, extra large. Basically, it came to $6 a set for American-made uniforms. That were contract uniforms. They're going to be going. Actually, what they did is they didn't pick up the last tail end of the I think it was the extension. But what's interesting is I haven't been able to get back with them. They have been. I know. This is the 3rd batch of stuff like this I've cleared out for different militias, mostly the county groups. The county groups are massive right now, and in Michigan here with what they just did with the election. Guys, everybody's getting frustrated because, well, a lot of people, of course, are coming in with their epiphany. Larry, you've probably seen this. I need ammo. Should have bought ammo 6 months ago, a year ago. Okay, like now, everybody else thinks, I need ammo. And guess what, guys? It's just not there. This is why, like I've said, you're not so much concerned with going out and getting another weapon, but you should be very heartily watching for, ammo for guns that you already have, which are more likely to be rearmed than the stuff that's, most common. A 32 ACP pistol with a whole pile of ammo is better than a 357 Magnum or a 9mm with none, because that's really where you are right now. Or when you do, I can buy probably close to 400 or 500 rounds of 32 for the price of maybe 100 rounds of 9mm, the way things are going, price-wise. So it's like, well, no. So this is where I've talked about the sine wave also in, purchasing items. Another thing, medical support, guys, we're piling it up, but we're still never going to have enough. If you start to deal with wound dressing, it's going to be a problem. ShopMedVet.com, ShopMedVet.com, ShopMedVet.com. They have some really great buy one, get one deals. One of them was for medical tape, 800s. They're shorter rolls, but they're perfect for individual care. But it's 800 rolls of medical tape for $19.95. Now, before the coronavirus, they were about $52 a case, and that was the real price. I know, because I was looking for it. Problem, they didn't have any. Well, they restocked during the coronavirus scam. And what's happened is because nobody's going to the hospitals are sitting on their dead ass and doing nothing. They're letting people die out on the, in their homes, but they aren't. Nobody wants to go in and be treated like a leper by the idiot sticks that are wearing the masks. So the medical gear is piled up. It's just not being used because there's no customers. People aren't going in and doing it. And I've talked to several people in the business, and they're saying the same thing. It's like, well, if we had regular customer base, they would be selling, in regular to all the clinics and hospitals, but mostly clinics, smaller places. And this is true across the whole of the country. So right now, it's a buyer's market in this respect. Well, here's what's cute. That roll of that 800 count box of tape was $19.95, but it was buy one, get one free. So I got 1,600 rolls of medical tape for $19.95. I think that was a good deal. When it comes time to keep some of you alive and we're able to actually have the right tools in hand, you're going to think it was a really great deal. So heads up on that, guys. Take care of it. Go to Shop MedVet. The prices are ridiculously cheap. I filled up several of the medical barrels solid and topped them off with other support items that I've been collecting. I made a deal on stethoscopes. And if I can do it, you can do it. So go to shopmedvet.com. 96 count, 92 count, case counts of whatever. Cheap. Ridiculously cheap. For what you're going to pay for a few bandages at the pharmacy, you could buy a case at Shop MedVet, and the shipping prices were ridiculously cheap. So, I mean, you can't beat it. So, anyway, ideas, not just complaining about the problems. We got to get solutions out there. The bad guys are in motion. They're planning on trying to kill us. We're going to kill them right back, only harder, and we plan on winning. To do that, though, we've got to have militia in place. We need to have medical, transportation, communication support units up and operational now. You can all help with that. Larry, anything before we take off? Please, sir.
No, Mark, I mean, I think you pretty well covered it. We're going to see this kickoff probably as they have Trump legally make his win. I think he's playing a part in this. I don't think he's an honest broker at all. And no matter who wins, the Israelis win. They're the ones that are kind of behind all this crap. They're the ones that are kind of behind the...
both sides. They're behind both of them.
Notice that Australia's doing the fake virus thing. Britain's doing the fake virus thing. They're using Fauci here. Fauci's all eager to work with Biden and push Pfizer's new vaccine. You cannot take that vaccine at all for any reason whatsoever. It is a DNA-altering vaccine. COVID is something that has a 99.9% survival rate. Ask yourself, do you know anybody that's died of COVID? Do you know anybody that knows anybody that's really died from COVID? It's a farce. There is no pandemic. There's always been viruses. There's always been people get sick. Most of these people that have died are 80, 90 years old. They were at their time. They got sick. They die from anything anyway. This is a fake pandemic. It is for control. It is to usher out the fiat currency and bring in the digital currency and tie it to these vaccines. That is their goal. So know their plan. Don't take the vaccine. And know that your consciousness will survive the death of the body. You do not have to play their game. You do not have to be afraid of death. Okay? You will survive this. We are here to learn.
Well, and remember, what are you going to do? Threaten me with heaven? Come on, people. That's all there is to it. Bottom line is the bad guys, they're terrified of life. They're terrified of everything. They are terrified of you enjoying life. That's one of the things. We value it. We enjoy it. We're going to keep it. It's ours. And no matter what, they're not going to win. It's that simple. But we are going to have to put ourselves at risk. That's the other half of the cost of being free. You will not be delivered to your liberty on a feather bed. That is not going to happen. We're at the top. We should be hearing the music here in a minute. Edward will be taking us out. And for everybody out there, guys, we got a lot of work to do. Not enough time to get it all done, but just keep plugging away. We still have this beautiful weather, so get the paint on whatever you can. I just did some olive green and some, London fog. Great camel combination. We're going to be back tomorrow, same time. Larry, thank you for being there, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
God bless our republic.
Death eternal to the New World Order.
We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The empire's on the run.
On the march, both day and night.
We were on the march both day and night.
Thank you, guys. For everybody out there, Ed taking over, more LTR coming up. Don't forget, organize, arm, equip, and train as militia. Establish a 510 program in your area of operation. Be prepared. Bad guys are planning on killing y'all, and they're bragging about it. So, them in spades. God bless. Bye-bye.
And the sun will always shine on the old Liberty tree. It's a tall old tree.